And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It has come down to this as we head into the Bacchus Pro Gaming Series Summer Split 2017 playoffs. Of course, for anything else, we are going to be your casters for today. Arctic at Yo Service Fam. And of course, with me is Atlas.
And man, that is going to be one of the last times we're seeing that intro for this split. Of course, coming to this playoffs, we are down to our best 4 teams in a PGS for this split. Of course, if we look at our schedule, it's going to be, for this first match, is a best-of-5 match for today, just one. It's going to be Acclaim Empire X versus Mineski. So AEX is at 4th place, and they have to go through this gauntlet through Mineski. And if they get past Mineski, they're going to have to fight IPT. So it's a long, grueling road for them. And at the end of the road, at the end of everything, at the finals, at Rampage 2017 on July 30, it's going to be against Team Manila Eagles.
Yes, and of course, checking out our schedule, of course, it's just going to be one match, as this is going to be a best-of-5 series, as Atlas said. Of course, opening this series is going to be Acclaim Empire X versus Mineski, 4th and 3rd in the after the split, respectively.
Yeah, and I think AEX is going to have their work cut out for them, having to go through 2 teams, and if they succeed the first one, tomorrow they're going to have to fight that next team. Of course, if Mineski wins this, they'll be fighting IPT tomorrow in the semifinals, but it's so grueling, this long road for all of these teams, and AEX is going to have to walk the longest and hardest one. But of course, looking at the conditions for the context for everything, it's like, you know, Mineski's still recovering from everything in Rift Rivals. Not really the best showing for GPL as a whole. Like, Gam really hard carried that. And after that, it's like kind of losing momentum. The thing is, like, Mineski had such a great run in PGS Summer Split 2017, and then there's Rift Rivals, so they kind of lost momentum from that. While on the other hand, AEX had all that time to relax, sit back, study, practice, everything that you would need to prepare for the quarterfinals. Plus, I think if you're talking about teams to go through this gauntlet, I think coming from 4th place, I think AEX has one of the best chances, because we know AEX, even with the roster changes, they're the ones we expect to pick up like unexpected strategies, unexpected champions. So definitely they won't have the information disadvantage. What do you think?
Yeah, I actually agree with you there. Especially, if I'm not mistaken, they pulled off that feature just last year. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be the same thing. And like you mentioned, it's more about a certain level of unpredictability where you couldn't necessarily read them as much as the other teams, because they definitely kind of walk to their own beat as far as how they draft, how they strategize. But of course, this is a different roster that we're talking about. They don't technically have the same flexibility that they have with former players such as Calculated, such as Endless Ace.
Oh yeah, those two are big losses to the roster. So it's going to make this this best-of-5 series, and tomorrow, if they get past this, much harder. But I do think that they have one of the best chances coming from 4th place if you compare to any other team that we have in the summer split right now. But of course, we're going to see how all that plays off in the drafting phase later. But still talking about the matchup, I think it's still going to be about the junglers for this one. Like, if you talk about how James and how Tamsu have been performing, they're both vital to their team's success. So I'm really looking forward to how they play around that jungler. But still, you know, it's difficult. It's very difficult for both of these teams.
Actually agree, definitely.
Yeah, AEX has to power through this gauntlet, while Mineski has to pick themselves up from the fatigue, from the stress of Rift Rivals. And that's the thing, you know, in NALCS, CLG Afromu actually said that he actually preferred CLG, that actually liked it better that CLG didn't go to Rift Rivals, because that was time for them to prepare for the split, time for them to rest, not even practice, just really rest it out and then practice right before the continuation. So that's the thing, you know, it's really a test of endurance, and especially this gauntlet.
Yeah, and it's actually interesting, because if you're going to think about it, during Rift Rivals, they've basically stuck with the starting roster that they've had for the start of the split. But of course, going into this match, they're going to be playing with Celestial. So
I think Celestial is very powerful. Very good asset for Mineski. How he plays bot lane, how he shot calls that bot lane, definitely really helpful. So which is why I'm kind of worried. It seems like, yeah, Mirmo's going to be playing with Korosu, not with Vanguard for AEX this game. So we'll be seeing that little switch up and how AEX plays this. Let's look at the pick and bans. It's going to be the Gragas and Cannon. Lots of flex bans here for AEX, banning out top or banning out the top Cannon as well as the top or jungle Gragas, and of course there's going to be at least ban away from James, one of his signature champions. As for Mineski, banning out the Zac and the Rek'Sai, of course, Tamsu uses those a lot. Very understandable, very powerful bans as well, and the Galio.
Yeah, and then of course with this Rek'Sai, especially with the I wouldn't even say small, but I'd consider it a pretty big rework on her ult. You know, really makes her a bit more scarier. There's really that element of surprise wherein once that ult is activated, once you're that target, you just get hit right off the bat. But yeah, going into these picks here, looks like AEX Cannon gonna be prioritizing the Shen, you know, one of the champions that we have seen him to be very, very proficient at. And of course, looking at Mineski here, looks like bot lane actually gonna be real right there. It's going to be both the Thresh and the Callista.
Shadow Isles combo down there in the bot lane for Mineski. Actually very, very powerful. Lots of trading potential, and the fact that with the ultimate from the Callista, you can easily get so many pickoffs with the Thresh combined there. As for AEX, they will be going for that Jungle Sejuani. Most likely it will be Jungle Sejuani as well as Mirmo's Caitlyn. Let's get into our second banning phase. Supports banned away against Korosu here for this one, so they're trying to narrow down the supports that Mirmo can have, really, because the support is 90% of the lane, so you really have, once you choke out the supports that the Caitlyn can have, it really stifles her power in the lane, especially with the recent nerf to her attack speed per level in 7.14. As for AEX, they don't want to deal with Exosense, Talia, and Syndra. Those are still signature picks, very powerful picks in this meta, so this is very understandable that AEX would ban them out.
Looking at, of course, what's interesting here is that, okay, so it's actually going to be Vanguard that'll be supporting. That's just a little bit of a small tech.
Okay, it is actually going to be Vanguard. So he will be going for that Alistar. So this is actually great. If you look at the composition room AEX, there are 4 melee champions. So this is super easy to proc the permafrost stacks onto the Sejuani. So definitely, it's going to be very powerful that they have so much availability for the permafrost so that Mirmo can free hit. As for Mineski, they seem to be going for the Orianna. After all, once you ban out the Syndra and the Talia, what else do you go for? You go for the Orianna for the utility, and a Jax for the top lane for the damage and scaling. So lots of scaling for this team and the utility and damage, but I am actually worried how that Jax will fare against the Shen. Both of them have ways to avoid auto attacks from each other. And definitely the Jax will outscale the Shen in terms of damage, but the utility from the Stand United, the map control, the map pressure that you can get from it, I'm actually worried for Mineski, how that's going to play out for them.
Yeah, but of course, with all said and done with both compositions, you know, it's interesting because looking at the draft that Mineski has, it's somewhat, this is kind of what I've been wondering, if whether or not, like we mentioned, they've just gone through Rift Rivals. For other teams, it might have been a little bit more of an exhaustion, but at the same time, you know, this was also their window of opportunity to kind of learn, in a way, from the different teams. So potentially we'll be seeing some of the points that they managed to pick off from Rift Rivals transition into the playoffs for PGS. So we'll just have to see if that's something, because we've actually been checking out some of the footage from Rift Rivals before, as we featured during the previous week. The coach of Mineski discussing with the coach of Gigabyte Marine. So, you know, that's a lot of information that you can get. You can pick up from, again, like we've mentioned, Gigabyte Marine's one of the top performing teams. So hopefully with all that knowledge, this will translate to a potential win for Mineski.
Yeah, they have to make all of that fatigue and stress worth it. If they just got tired from Rift Rivals, there's not really much that they can do for this best of 5. But if they were able to take notes from like Gigabyte Marine's coach as well as Coach Cabbage from Ascension, then that's definitely useful information. But it's the thing that AEX is also quite unpredictable, and how reliable is knowledge against chaos, chaos incarnate as AEX. The thing is, though, it's going to be a very interesting match. Interested to see how much Mineski have learned from Rift Rivals. And I'm also interested to see how much AEX has improved ever since their previous games. The growth that all these teams have gone through, not just these top 4, but the bottom 4 as well, the growth that they've gone through coming into this point, into the playoffs, is definitely impressive. Like, we've seen growth from Jengski, we've seen growth even from Asian Arena, but of course, let's look at our featured matchup for this game. It's going to be, as I talked about, James and Tamsu, both very powerful junglers. GPM, a little bit of James's side, while Tamsu does focus a lot more on farming for this season, actually. A lot different from the Tamsu we saw in the previous season, where he had such high kill participation. For this one, his KP is a little lower, but he's still definitely there when the team needs him. As for James, yeah, high kill participation for the season.
I'm actually wondering in which case, because with Tamsu, like if you look at the previous clips, like when I think of junglers in the PGS, I ultimately think of Tamsu, but of course, with the splits pass, I felt like with all these teams, a lot of junglers have stepped up. Like you mentioned, of course, Hamas is definitely one of them.
Definitely.
MSK. We have Spear from Jenski. Like all these different jugglers really performing for their respective teams. So I'm actually wondering if it's really more of all these junglers suddenly popping up, or is it Tomsu himself? Maybe is it the adjustment of having this new roster, or
maybe it's also the new meta, like how different junglers are in this.
Yes, definitely. With all this meta, so this technically definitely takes a little bit of a toll on how he could play out, because junglers aren't as dominant as they were during last year when we really saw champions such as Graves just really pick up the speed.
There are no longer a lot of carry junglers. Even here, Tomsu Zac is banned on the tank role, but junglers still have a lot of control. While they've lost their hard carry potential, like with the Graves, they definitely gained a lot of tools to actually snowball the rest of their team. The map control and the pressure that they can put out, that's going to be the battle of the junglers here, on how they pressure, how they snowball their teams, how do they play to their team's win conditions. That's definitely the most important part for this matchup, and the entire map will feel this, from top lane to bot lane. Whichever of these junglers performs better in this game, in this best of 5, it's definitely going to be the deciding factor to which team is able to make moves in the mid game, because both of these teams, they like making moves once mid game comes. And if you're behind in mid game because the jungler didn't put out enough pressure, or you got outscaled earlier because of the jungler's pressure and presence, it's definitely going to be very difficult for either AEX or MSK.
There you go. So, of course, with this matchup right here, as Atlas said, it's definitely really up to them, because especially when you have players such as Celestial for Mineski, and then at the same time, Miro, actually, I'm expecting a lot of action to be potentially happening towards the bot, where you could get either Miro or Celestial to just really pop off. But then again, there's also that factor with Kaigo running this Jax, as opposed to Canon, which is playing, I'd say, a little bit more of a supportive role to protect those key carries such as Awaken, such as Miro. So I really like how there's a difference in dynamic towards the top side, but then again, ultimately, if you can look towards the bot side, there's going to be a lot of emphasis towards the carry potential of both Miro and Celestial if you get them to just kind of pop up and snowball.
Because looking at the picks, definitely it's skewed towards supporting the bot lane here for AEX. Of course, they have the Sejuani, they have the Shen. All these tools to keep the Caitlyn alive are definitely going to be useful. Mirmo will have a lot of really great support system, a lot of shields, a lot of defensiveness on his side. So, of course, all of this will combine into him being a beast in late game if he gets those free hits out. But the danger is the fact that the damage, the scaling from Mineski is not to be underestimated as well. They have a Jax. Really, they have a lot of damage threats. On the other hand, for AEX, they have 1 or 2 damage threats only. So that really is a danger that they have the safety of the late game with the Caitlyn, but they have to focus everything. They have to double down on that Caitlyn. If the Caitlyn doesn't pay off, they just lose everything.
Not to mention the fact that even in the earlier phases of the game, AEX, with Mineski, what's interesting here is that they have a lot more riding on really getting things going for the Jax, as well as for the Kalista to an extent. So if ever Mineski just really pops off as far as the earlier phases, I'm kind of worried for AEX. Let's say even with the utility to kind of give protection to those carries, because once you get that Jax going, that's going to be very, very scary.
And with the ultimate from the Kalista, there's definitely a lot of potential to just go up and force team fights that the Caitlyn doesn't want, that AEX doesn't want, with so much tools to engage and like go in for the ultimate, then throw in that Thresh. He goes for his full combo with a box, with a Flay, stun someone with a death sentence, and he dark passages the Jax in. He gets a free gap close. So that is very dangerous. Once the team fights, once the skirmishes in the late game actually start, it's going to be very scary for Acclaim Empire X.
Indeed, indeed. But of course, at the end of the day, it'll all depend on how this will go for both teams. Of course, we have both sides locked in right now with the compositions. Let us know who you guys are rooting for, whether you're watching from YouTube or Facebook. If you, of course, want the pride of Iloilo to take it all the way to the next level, to the semifinals, of course, with hashtag AEXWin. Of course, if you want Mineski to take it potentially to the finals as well, hashtag Mineski win. MSK win. Of course.
MSK win or AEX win. It's definitely going to be a hard matchup, but coming into this, Acclaim Emperor X versus Mineski, AEX has a long road ahead of them, a long and hard road ahead of them, and this is just the beginning. So we'll see how all of that plays off. Their first steps in the playoffs of PGS Summer Split 2017. We'll see how it goes at the Rift.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. It has come right down to this. The playoffs for the Bacchus Pro Gaming Series Summer Split 2017 as we head into the quarterfinals. Of course, once again, this is going to be between Acclaim Empire X, the pride of Iloilo, versus, of course, MSK.
One of the titans in the PGS for a while now. So they definitely have a lot of pride on the line as well. So we'll be seeing how all that plays out here in AEX versus MSK. Looking at the lines of scrimmage here for AEX. Very good vision around the entrance of the jungle. MSK cannot do anything too aggressive here unless they want to be they want to get spotted out.
There we go. So Claim Empire X, good vision there actually. Getting the spot onto MSK a little bit as to where they're leaning towards. So of course we're not going to be seeing anything particularly flashy, no invades. So playing it a bit more standard here because there's a lot on the line here. In comparison to when you're playing during a split, you could kind of afford a few losses. This is a best of 5 that every single win counts at this point, because if you lose out, then ultimately you'll lose your chance at potentially making it all the way to Rampage here. So both sides really want to try to pull this off. So we'll just have to see.
Yeah, definitely. This is okay. It seems like TG and the rest of MSK still wants to go for something here. Might go for a steal for some of the little Raptors. Very cheeky play come from MSK. This will give them a little bit of extra XP on top of Mirmo, because they don't have to leash because James is starting top lane, starting on the red side. They get an extra Raptor, small Raptor too, which will put them ahead in the CS game and in the experience game. That's what's important. They will be ahead in the XP.
Not to mention the fact that because of that leash coming in from Mirmo and Vanguard for Tomsu, if you notice, it's kind of a scenario where they both arrive at the lane at the same time. And yeah, ultimately, that does grant Celestial and TG that extra advantage as far as the XP that they gain.
Find something on Tomsu here.
No, though. We're seeing a fight, though. Look at the damage though going on to James. Tries to go for the smite to get a little bit of the heal, but ultimately will get the steal.
Yeah, James gets a steal there because Tomsu threatened with the higher health by smiting the blue buff. That meant that James could actually steal that blue buff easily.
Kai going Cannon right at it, but looks like Cannon will be dashing away for the meantime.
Very well played from MSK there, because James knew, okay, Tomsu will have slower clear than me, so once I get there, it's going to be easy pickings. And because Tomsu used the smite to regain HP so he could scare James off, James was not phased at all. He just smited back, and because he had higher attack speed than the Sejuani, he was confidently able to steal that blue buff away, and that's a huge loss for a Sejuani.
Yeah, especially for Tomsu, that will definitely slow him down a bit, and this is what we're talking about here. Looking at the earlier game, ooh, Tomsu though within the vicinity, it looks like we're going to be seeing a gank, though won't be able to continue because Kaiku did manage to make it into safer discount.
Yeah, plus, I think he had Leap Strike around that time. Oh, Celestial going down. Ignite burned by Vanguard. Celestial still has a heal. He still has the potions ticking. He's playing with fire with that health here. Especially if Mirmo gets like a headshot, that is a dead Kalista.
That's rather unfortunate for MSK's bot lane though, because this does kind of negate the advantage that they had by taking those earlier on Raptors. So,
because even if you do get the early level 2 against the Alistar, he has so many disengage tools. Vanguard might actually find James. Ooh, the flash!
James though, Exocen though as well, trying to walk this out, and looks like they will be able to survive. So really, a lot of instances where in both sides kind of spotting each other out. Well, Kaigu though very, very low on health, has to be careful. Cannon himself actually still at almost half, so looks like Cannon. Ultimately, it's interesting because we've been seeing a lot of proactivity from MSK, but at the end of the day, looking at it across all lanes, the rest of them kind of find themselves in a position where they're forced to just kind of back away. Earlier with Celestial, now with Kaigu.
Oh man, now it's going to be Exocen under duress.
Here comes the teleport though. Will we be seeing our first blood for the game? Teleport as well. Going to be popped by Cannon. James as well in the vicinity to help his teammate. Ooh, man, Kaigu goes in onto the Shen. Cannon blocking out. First blood goes to Awaken though. Looks like this is going to be the fight. TG joins the party. Kaigu very, very low on health. That is going to be a double kill for Awaken. Cannon himself very, very low on health. Goes down to TG, but Exocen might be the next casualty in this case. Goes down to Tomsu. That is going to be a 3-for-1 in favor of Claim Empire X, but TG will be able to escape. So it looks like no further casualties. But then again, AEX really popping off.
MSK's proactivity really backfires on them there. They were trying to go for something around the areas of the map, and because James had to go for the invade, he burned his flash, and because Exosen was pushing in, right, so he thought he was in a more of a position to actually support his jungler, but there he just got caught, and it forces the rest of MSK to respond, but at that point AEX already got 3 kills, 2 of which go to Awaken. That is terrifying. 2 kills on a Zed this early in the game. First blood too. 2 kills early on that Zed. It's going to be very, very scary for that ninja. Once Awaken starts roaming around, once he starts assassinating people, once he gets level 6, it's going to be terrifying. The fear will be tasted by MSK. They will have to be very careful around that mid laner. Serrated Dirk. That is a huge pickup at 6 minutes.
And of course, with this, MSK really has to look out because, again, when you're looking at champions such as the Jack, such as the Kalista, but looks like we'll be having a little bit of an initiate coming in from Vanguard though. Celestial goes for the kiting. Vanguard himself might find himself in a very awkward position, taking a lot of those auto attacks coming in from Celestial. Won't be going down just yet, doesn't get the proc on the Ren regardless.
Sonic Wave, if that would have hit, I think Vanguard would have died there, even with Ignite to scare them off. Tamsu's right around the corner for some support, but I think this is just going to be a short push come from MSK just to shove him away.
Hook connecting on to Tamsu though, goes down, gets the kill though. Going to Hamas, but looks like Mirmo himself. Looks like MSK trying to go for a little bit of an awkward dive though.
They have to get out of dodge here.
Outs, but still very well played there by MSK, getting that kill under turret, not to mention.
The dive there, very, very well played. I like how TG was taking the turret aggro for a while they attempted the dive, but that would have been too dangerous. Even having to burn the heal is actually pretty big there. But of course, they do get a kill onto Hamas, which is great considering his death down there up there in mid lane. So after that, this is going to be a little bit of a reset. Tamsu still has more gold than Hamas, but Hamas is not completely out of the fight just yet.
Yeah, a good little balance there by MSK, you know, kind of to make up for the fact that, again, we've been talking about how Awaken 2-0-1 on this Zed. Not exactly, if you're on MSK's side, not exactly the best scenario for you, especially considering just how scary that Zed might be if Awaken does continue to pick off when you have squishies such as the Kalista in a way. So, but overall, you know, I like the proactivity really balancing out by making sure that the bot lane is well taken care of because in this sense, Exosen might struggle a little bit. So it would actually be pretty smart in my opinion if they could kind of counter that a bit, right? If they could get
Exosen
though, look at that, Awaken.
Yeah, I saw it in the minimap. The purple spinning aura around Awaken's icon. That told me, okay, Cannon's going for a gank in the mid lane. Using the Stand United proactively, going for a kill onto Exosen, another kill onto Awaken. He's just going to snowball out of control if he's not stopped. And because AEX's composition has 4 melee champions and has the Sejuani with Tamsu playing on the Sejuani, it's going to be very potent once skirmishes start. And Awaken can actually start forcing these skirmishes by rotating around the map, pressuring these lanes, or he can just continue making Exosen irrelevant. 0-2, not too bad, since, you know, it's an Orianna, doesn't really need too much gold, but the fact that it's actually there, that the 3 kills are on Awaken is a huge threat already.
Indeed, that's something that MSK really has to take into account too, and Exosen himself, that's going to be a little bit more scary for him, because if this is a continuing trend, wherein they continue to get kills off of Exosen, then Awaken, I'm not sure if they really have the power to deal with him just yet, but we'll just have to see in which case, because the saving grace here is that, let's say if Exosen does kind of fall behind, if they could get Celestial to pop, or maybe even Kaigo, at least the utility that the Orianna does bring to these team fights kind of makes up for it.
Yeah, because if Celestial survives this bot lane, he is definitely surviving, matching the CS of Mirmo here. And if Kaigo, actually ahead of Cannon, because Cannon has been moving around the map with his ultimate, he can if he just survives this, he has 1 death and 1 assist. That is completely fine. If he doesn't get ganked by Awaken from a roam, and if he continues in this pace where he just out CS's Cannon and survives on his own pace, then definitely that's going to be a good scaling for MSK.
Man, look at this though. MSK continuing to get this push off. Hamas actually
going
within the vicinity.
Dives.
Very, very risky though. Looking at the health bars for both Celestial and TG as well.
Exosen 4-man though.
4-man. That might actually be very good.
Shockwave is also available. And the Dragon's Rage. So they have all the tools
There we go though. Looks like they'll be going for the initiate. Mirmo taking a lot of damage. Goes down. Hamas getting the kill, but Celestial himself There goes Cannon. There goes Awaken as well. We have a full-on fight here. Tomsu just within the vicinity to respond. Awaken very, very low on health though. Hamed taking a lot. Double kill going to Cannon. Looks like Kaigu might be the next casualty here. Tries to go onto Awaken. Succeeds, but will be going down in exchange. That is going to be a 2 for 3 in favor of Acclaim Empire X.
Oh man, what was Hamed thinking going back in there? He should have known with how long that fight was going and how long MSK was posturing for that tower dive. He should have expected that Tomsu and the rest of AEX would be converging on there, and him going in, nah, that was unneeded because he just died without taking anything in return. Kaigu got the shutdown, which is huge. That's around 500 gold to a hyper carry, which is actually huge. But if you consider it, now Cannon is 2-1-5. That is a great KDA, plus Awaken got another assist on top of that. So this is going to be very scary for MSK, because right now Exosense is going to continue feeling the pain here. He didn't die that fight, but the fact that his lane opponent is popping off so hard is going to be very difficult for him in the mid lane.
And what's kind of worrisome here for MSK is that if you're going to notice, Celestial kind of a little bit behind. Sure is up on CS, but then again, if you guys did notice, he did succumb early on during that clash. Ultimately one of the priority targets, which is why he died out early. So kind of missed out on potential assists, which would have helped him propel.
Still going for dive.
Going for the dive here onto Mirmo, really wanting to shut down Cannon. Goes for the stand United though. Looks like Hamed's in trouble himself, but actually gets cancelled. Looks like Mirmo going for the auto attacks. Vanguard good zoning. Yeah, really good proactivity from MSK.
Yeah, good proactivity, but there, they almost died. Once again, Hamed tries to go for something. Misses the Sonic Wave, and actually takes a few turret shots, which is very dangerous if you consider. If Vanguard got on him with his cooldowns off when he was under tower, that would have been another death for Hamed. All these proactive plays from Hamed, yes, they could have been paying off, but because of how he's playing it, he's really just putting his team under a lot of danger.
Another fight though happening. Mirmo taking much more damage.
Gonna die
Celestial gonna get the kill. Vanguard will be walking away, but man, finally another successful plot there by MSK. But looks like Awaken
gonna come here.
Gonna try to get the vengeance onto Celestial though. This is gonna be very scary indeed. Actually gets the play on, but look at the damage coming in from Awaken. This might be a very good dead AD carry. Exosen now within the vicinity, trying to avenge his teammate. Awaken is trying to walk it out. Vanguard getting the stun onto Exosen, but gets flayed. This is not going to be good. Goes down. That is going to be yet another kill. MSK, again, really.
MSK 2 for 2 actually there. Hamed died once again because of the damage on him. And Celestial actually falls down after the gag from Awaken there. Just bursted him down absolutely. But of course, if you consider a kill onto Celestial, that's great for MSK. A kill onto Exosen puts him back a little bit on the map. Because Awaken is really behind in CS because he keeps roaming around. But the fact that he got another kill puts him closer to his threshold where he has so much AD. That they have to be careful because the W, the Shadow of Zed, actually gives him even more AD than he already has. So more kills onto Awaken actually has 25%. The AD that he gets has around 20% more value, 15% more value. It's very dangerous to give Kaigu. That's the effect of those 2 kills, now 3 and 5 assists, and the fact that you can just overpower Kaigu. Now he has 3 deaths. I don't think Hamed should try fighting him, but clearing the wave is definitely good.
Definitely. You know, level 10 Cannon in comparison to a level 8 Hamed, you know, definitely not the best move right there if he did decide to go in. So good restraint there coming in from the jungler of MSK, but regardless, well said and done. 1-3-1, not the best standing to be in when you're a Jax, technically. And
yeah, I mean, you can delay the game enough to scale up, but the fact is, once AEX gets ahead with this composition, with the Zed, with Shen at the top lane, Double Ninja, they can just easily take over the game and dominate the game with so many permafrost stacks around. They can just activate that on-hit, on-click stun rather, and then allow Mirmo to free it. It's going to be very difficult. Celestial in trouble? Oh man, this is just Hamez's resources being stolen. A little bit of a revenge from Tomsu if they do get this, but this might does secure it.
Ooh.
They might be in trouble. MSK's waiting around the corner.
Looks like the hook will be connecting on to Tomsu though.
On a tank though.
Yeah, not exactly the best target though. Looks like AEX still very much in a good position. And this is kind of worrisome because if we did notice, MSK within the first 10 to 12 minutes was really exerting a lot of their effort to try to shut down Mirmo. but it didn't really result to anything particularly fruitless. Sure, there's 2 deaths onto that Caitlyn, but if you're going to look at the overall picture for AEX, when you have champions such as the Shen, such as Awaken, even on the Zed, really ahead, it kind of negates trying to shut down Mirbo because there's other threats that need to be considered.
Plus, it's an assassin, and if you're banking on your hyper carries on Kalista as well, your Kalista is going to be taken out of the fight very, very easily, even with a Thresh there. Even with a Dragon's Rage from James, it's going to be very difficult to defend Celestial. If Awaken continues getting these kills, getting these assists, it's going to be very difficult indeed. So they have to go for something, an objective, a good dive, because the dives that they keep going for bot lane, the fact is AEX has Shen, and they have a lot of mobility as well from Tamsu. Might be going for something onto Awaken.
But Awaken, a lot of damage. It looks like Awaken will be retaliating. Won't be able to go
down.
down. Where's Tamsu though? There goes Spatial Prison. Will be... This might be death right there.
Ooh.
Wow, good save there by Cannon, just in case that turret did connect onto Awaken.
That's going to be another kill onto Awaken. Fearless, even with that little health. He was still able to get the kill onto Exos and with the help of his team. And that's the thing. Cannon has been doing so much, as well as Tamsu, to make sure that their carriers get ahead. Mirbo might be in trouble, however.
Look at the damage going on to Celestial. Here comes the teleport play coming in from Cannon, though. Won't be able to lead to anything fruitful, though, as Vanguard might be the next casualty. As 3 members of Mineski converge onto this cow right here. Double kill going on to Celestial.
That is something very good for Mineski, because they got that double kill. It was quite close, actually. Good that the teleport from Cannon was cancelled for Mineski. But what happened there is they found a spot where AEX was vulnerable around the top side, because all of them really converged to help Awaken out. And I like how Mineski played that. They just made sure, okay, let's get them where they're weakest, but now it might be Mineski under attack.
Ooh, actually seeing a fight here. Acclaim Empire X really at it.
Oh,
not wanting Mineski at
this Rift Herald. It's going to be huge for the next push from AEX.
Thomas has to look out for himself, though, a little bit on the lower end of the spectrum in terms of health. It looks like Exosen within the vicinity, just in case things do get nasty. Acclaim Empire X, though, really trying to poise themselves to take this Rift Herald.
Oh, he might be in a position to steal it.
There we go, though. It's like ultimately we'll be going to Acclaim Empire X, though, but still, with all said and done, that was Mineski getting the initiate onto Rift Herald. Acclaim Empire X, though, with enough of that sense to kind of dig in, something a little bit fishy here with Mineski taking that Rift Herald.
Yeah, they were in a position to actually steal it, and they did. Just constantly pushing out Mineski from that objective. Now they're pushing away Exosen from his own mid lane turret. And now that Rift Herald, I think, is going to bash this tower down. Demolition job straight up from AEX. And yeah, even though Mineski got a really good pick-off there on the bot lane of AEX, it was still kind of bad for them because they still lost the Rift Herald, which gave the turret, which I think is equivalent in terms of gold to the 2 kills down there, up their top.
I like the fact, though, that Mineski really trying to take the extra measures to get Celestial up and going, to kind of make up for the rest of, again, everybody just kind of not exactly in the best position right now with Kaigo on this Jax, the Lee Sin, the Orianna. They're not at optimal speed just yet. So regardless, hopefully Celestial is that hope and prayer once they could get him going on, and that could potentially be the turnaround for Mineski. But then again, what's 1 star right now for Mineski in this Kalista in comparison to, again, Cannon and Awaken on this Shen and Zed? Again, the Shen really good because he will grant that protection through the Stand United.
And he deals a lot of damage as well. He is building that Titanic Hydra and into the Sunfire Cape. So the longer he is in a fight, the more damage he deals. So Mineski is going to have their run for their money here, because the fact is Kaigo has not reached the point. Even with the Triforce, he doesn't deal as much damage as Cannon and Awaken and the rest of the AX squad combined. The fact once a team fight starts, AX will snowball out of control once they get a pick off from Awaken onto like Celestial or Exosen.
Yeah, 11 and 8 now on our scoreboard. Definitely looking good for Acclaim Empire X so far. But then again, Mineski again. This is what I'm talking about here. A lot of proactivity with getting Celestial, but looks like won't be able to get the kill onto Cannon. But this is what I'm actually blasting cone in Cannon. That fortunately the hook misses out, but looks like we'll be able to dash out to safety regardless. Awaken though going on to Kaigo. A lot of action across the map here. There goes for the ult. Looks Kaigo trying to get the stun, but I don't think that'll stop them from taking him down. Awaken gets the kill.
Once another kill for Awaken. Now he's 6-2-2. The gold is just racking up on this Zed. It seems like Mineski is trying to go for something in this mid lane, but it seems like Mineski, Hame is actually now in danger.
Exosen will be able to respond though for the safety just in case. But yeah, that is going to be a tower though taken by both Celestial and TG towards the top side. So definitely a good stepping stone for Mineski again if they could slowly keep this up, because as far as the goal difference, it's still not, I'd say not as substantial. It's just that they don't really have as much to deal with Cannon and Awaken yet, unless they outnumber them in such scenarios. But Celestial, though, himself might be outnumbered in this case by both Vanguard and Mirmo. Here comes the save, though, coming from TG. Not enough. Man.
He still got headshot there. That bullet was magical. It just followed him. It arced to actually follow him. I don't think bullets are supposed to work that way, but Mirmo takes another one kill.
Indeed, and with all of this is what I've been talking about here. Like, if they could get Celestial to slowly pop up, but again, that's not exactly the ideal scenario when Celestial himself is the one that gets picked off, in which case, and especially with the kill going to Mirmo, because they've been trying to set Mirmo back, but with that small kill, kind of allows Mirmo himself to get back on equal footing.
Definitely, and that just supplements the damage Awaken had. Look at this, Kaigu wants another death, and another kill onto Awaken, and he's just going to be very scary coming to this bot lane. Now he's going to split push, and because he has enough mobility, I think he's going to be able to push down this bot lane and pressure the rest of the Mineski, so they have to like play around, dance around this Baron. But the fact is, Awaken can either go there or continue pushing this bot lane.
Yeah, that was quite the resources taken out to Cannon, but looks like good thing though is does stop AEX from taking that Baron regardless. But Exosen might have to back away for the meantime, quite low on mana. And Awaken, look at this split pushing towards bot side, not giving a care in the world. And he is, you know, with very good reason, 7-2-2 on this Zed. And we have seen just how scary he is, easily going 1v1 against Kaigu, but looks like AEX will go back on this Baron.
Yeah, at this point, Awaken doesn't need the support of Thompson and Cannon to one-shot anyone that tries to stop him. Even Kaigu, who is one of the best chances of Mineski of actually stopping this assassin. He's just way too difficult. Hame is in a position to steal after TG goes for the Dark Passage, but it's going to be a hard one. I think they have to leave the Baron at around 2,500 HP. Kaigu teleports, so that is going to be Cannon with a teleport advantage. They go back to it.
Ooh.
Oh, cheeky play coming from AEX,
cheeky
but here they go.
That's going to be the fight, though. Knockup coming in from the Kalista right there from TG. Here comes the ice. Looks like Mineski really trying to take it down onto AEX. Vanguard himself, very, very low on health. A lot of low members coming in from AEX right here. Oh, being chopped down. 2 members taken down. Triple kill for Exosen. Only Mirmo and Awaken, the only surviving members, make that 4 members of AEX down. Awaken, the only surviving member here. And this will prompt Mineski rather go for this Baron. Wow.
Oh, Awaken's going to go for something. He has the Ignite, he has the Flash, he has a lot of AoE damage. Is this going to be Mineski throwing this Baron away? It seems like they get a shutdown onto Awaken, but this does stop the Baron, which I think is worth it. He gets 2 kills on top of that. So being able to stop the Baron is definitely great. I think AEX, they lost that. But they were able to recover, salvage the situation by stopping the Baron and giving Awaken 2 more kills.
Indeed.
So I think that's worth it for AEX.
Definitely, and if with all said and done, regardless, Awaken definitely in a great position there. I like the fact that he just kind of restrained himself. Clearly would not have been able to go for the steal. In fact, if anything, as seen, was able to halt the Baron, not to mention the fact that really capitalizing on the rest of Mineski. Those were a lot of very low health bars across the board for those 4 members that were
and even using Ignite that fight.
Indeed.
So, in the end, I think AEX really misplayed that. They went for a very cheeky Baron. They should have pulled off completely once Kaigo teleported, but instead they go in once again to the Baron, thinking that Mineski was already scared off. But since that Baron put them at so low, that left them open for an engage. And I think they should have just turned. Vanguard might be in trouble, but he is tanky.
Very, very tanky.
But there's no one to support him around this area.
Those are 4 members of Mineski converging onto him. Won't be able to survive this at all. Kill eventually going on to Celeste.
Mukau, Alistar, Vanguard milked and slaughtered into this mid lane. And I think this gives Mineski the opportunity to go for this mid lane turret. And this might actually get Mineski closer to closing the gap of the gold. And since it was Celestial getting more kills, now Exosen also has a little bit of kills while the gold is concentrated on Awaken and Cannon. So at this point of the game, because of the gold distribution, if Awaken gets on the target, that target will die. But because Mineski's gold distribution between the carries, between Kaigu, Exocen, and Celestial are pretty much even, I think they have enough power once Awaken runs out of steam in a team fight. That is the caveat for AEX's huge lead onto Awaken. They have to play this very carefully.
James might be in a bit of trouble here, but Go tries to go onto Mirmo. Mirmo will be able to survive though, thanks to Stand United coming in from Cannon. Exocen, the Lantern actually getting the save coming in from TG. They're very, very good. But still, one member of Mineski's squad down.
And that is James. So this is definitely going to be a call for James, rather for Tamsu to go for the Baron. There is no Shockwave. There is still the ultimate from Celestial. Can they try and go for the steal?
That's going to be tricky though with the teleport down.
Indeed.
For Kaigu though, so this might actually be a take for Acclaim Empire X. Exocen taking quite the damage. Cannon actually juking it out with 3 members, canceling any attempt to try to take that Baron. Actually goes down to Celestial. That is going to be almost. There's the hook from TG, but still, Baron still going to Acclaim Empire X.
Man, they cannot play it like that. I said Mineski was closing the gap in terms of gold, but when they're playing like this, when James gets caught out for no reason at all, then that means AEX is still going to take this game 1. Mineski, they have so much potential to take this game back in their hands. Their carries are starting to scale up. Kaigu is starting to get the gold that he needs, get the damage he needs. Celestial with the Bork and the Rudans is able to deal a lot of AoE damage on the Rand as a finisher. So if they can just get past Awaken and not get caught, they can really turn this game around. We can really have their vengeance from AX's early game. The Spear of Vengeance, Celestial on that Callista is their key here along with Kaigu, and if they got caught like that again, it's going to be very difficult for them to actually take this game 1.
Indeed, it's all about the safety and the precaution, and to an extent the patience as well that Mineski needs to really transition once again, because I like the fact that you did bring up that across the board they are pretty much balanced, slowly building up. They just need to avoid those pickoffs that allows Acclaim Empire X to still remain relevant in this game. Because if you think about it, once you transition to the later parts of the game, especially let's say if it does come to a point where everybody full up on items, I don't think Awaken will be in a position to really get that easy assassination onto members of Mineski anymore. So if they could wait it out that long, then that would be the saving grace for Mineski. But the fact that there's a lot of carrots,
Awaken shut down, going to Kaigu is great. Yeah, that is big, because that means that's a lot of gold on the Kaigu, and Awaken's now out of the map for around half a minute. This allows Mineski to go for a power play, possibly in mid lane, if they can catch someone out. It seems like Can is just relaxing, pushing that top lane in. It's definitely, Mineski has their backs to the wall, and they have to make a play while Awaken, the richest character on AEX is down, and I think Cannon will be their next victim.
Indeed, taking a lot of damage. These are 4 members. Tamsu actually going to try to join the party to save his teammate, though. Vanguard as well. 3 tanky members of Acclaim Empire X, but wow, there goes Mirmo actually within the backline, getting some auto attacks onto Kaigu. This might actually go for the reverse. Kaigu goes down to Tamsu. Looks like things will be reversing for Mineski real quick. Exocen joins the party as well. Looks like that is going to be no shockwave just yet, but looks like Mirmo getting the kill onto James as well. Those are 2 members of Mineski down. Celestial getting the kill onto Cannon into exchange. Tamsu might be in trouble himself. Will be going down to Celestial. Double kill for Celestial indeed.
A little bit of a overcommitment from Mineski there. They really walked into that trap, because that was a very tanky Cannon, and even with all the support in the world, Mineski just fell apart there. But of course, it was in the end a 2 for 2 with Cannon falling down as well as Tamsu. And Celestial was the recipient of 2 of those kills, which put them 7-4-7. And now Mirmo might be in trouble. Exo said, oh, nice Zanyas.
There you go. Mirmo will be going down to Celestial, though. Awaken trying to salvage this by going the takedown onto Celestial, but will be able to actually get 2 members of Mineski, both the Orianna, both the Callista, make that 3 with TG down as well. Wow.
Oh dear, they overstayed their welcome in their own side of the map, and now Awaken is able to catch up, now at 14-4-2 as for his KDA, and that is a very painful Zed. You saw how he was just able to 1v3 that, and that was so scary. And for Mineski, and Mineski has to always be on their toes. Watch out for Awaken, and when he's dead, watch out for his death timer, because he has a lot of mobility here, and if he's able to catch up and clean up a fight that's been going on for so long, that just leaves them more vulnerable. And if 3 of them are dead because Awaken assassinated them, they can't go for any objectives.
Definitely, and the damage output was absolutely insane. If anything, I was actually expecting that Awaken might have gone down after taking like 1 or 2 members. So the fact that he survived, not to mention getting the triple kill on top of that, it's really telling us to how much they still kind of need to respect the damage output because of this lead coming in from Awaken here.
Exosen just got casually killed. He wasn't even the real target. He just got spun on with a blade and then fell down.
Indeed.
That's the power that Awaken has right now. He can just walk past you. You're not even his real target, and he cuts you down. That's how dangerous this Zed is right now, and they have to be very careful playing around this assassin.
And that's the tricky part right there, because technically with the Zhonya's on the Orianna was already exhausted earlier because of the threat of being taken down by Mirmo. Lose out on that leaves you much, much more vulnerable to Zed. And like you mentioned, technically Orianna wasn't even the target in that fight. Awaken was really going hard, trying to take down Celestial in that.
Oh,
but
Thompson and Vanguard might be going for something. And yeah, I agree. And the fact is, you saw how dangerous Mirmo was. Even if he wasn't the most gold value champion here in AEX's team.
Oh, this is going to be the 1v1.
Gonna try fighting him?
Kaigu might actually go for it, though. Looks like does have the tool. That's going to be the ult coming in from Awaken, though. Who emerged? Oh, looks like Awaken will have to back away, though, because Kaigu is slowly building up. Might not be the best scenario anymore when Awaken
he
can
has
take
the
him.
cloth armor as well as the Warden's mail there. So, and plus the Titanic Hydra, so he has enough tankiness. But now, AEX uses this opportunity to push in mid lane with their AD carry. That is great play coming from AEX. They knew that, okay, we're going to distract top lane Kaigu with Awaken. And let's get this second recruit, which is actually more valuable at this point, meaning that AEX now has more map control. Awaken's hunting grounds is even bigger. And now MSK has to be on their toes even more by warding their own side of the map twice as much.
There we go. Looks like Kaigu as well going to try to juke it out with Cannon. And this is the tricky part right here. The longer this game goes, the more potent Kaigu becomes on this Jax. Earlier, Kaigu couldn't even deal with Awaken, but because of the fact that he's slowly building up, if this prolongs much more longer, then it's actually Kaigu that Acclaimed Empire X might not be able to deal with later on during this game. So again, this is a scenario when I feel as though AEX really needs to seek windows of opportunity to try to close this out, because the more time is exerted, but looks like this might be the kill onto Hamas. So 3 members of Acclaimed Empire X converging onto them. Celestial getting the knockup onto the members as well, but looks like things going south real fast for Mineski. That's going to be 2 members of Mineski down, and 3 members trying to run it out here. 5 members of the Acclaimed Empire X converging onto them. This is going to be very dangerous indeed. Kaigu tries to get on to Mirmo. It looks like Kaigu in exchange will be forced to back away for the meantime, taking a lot of damage. 4 members of Mineski's squad down.
Oh dear, they just got engaged on that. I think, I told you, that's the danger. They have so many tools to engage. They have the Alistar combo, combine that with the Stand United into the Shadow Dash, combine that with a Glacial Prison, with all of the CC that Sejuani can come up with. Mirmo and Awaken are going to have a field day hunting down. Now, I think this is game. I don't think Mineski, I don't think Celestial and James are enough to stop this 4-man push onto the Nexus.
Indeed.
And I think this is game 1 going to AEX. I think AEX is breaking a lot of expectations coming into this playoffs. Game 1, first step, huge bound, huge step forward.
Congratulations, game 1, Acclaimed Empire. Ooh-wee, man. That was pretty crazy. I mean,
yeah.
But then again, if you're going to look at it, I feel that there were quite a number of mistakes that were in Mineski. If it was kind of moments wherein either they got picked off, and at the same time, monumentally, it was also a scenario wherein key members of Acclaimed Empire X really started to pop off there. And there were a lot of attempts coming in from Mineski. I'll hand them that. I'll give them that. But the problem is, since it didn't really translate into getting kills, if anything, actually put members such as Hamas in awkward positions.
Yeah, let's break that entire game down, because we saw that they were trying to pop off Celestial so much. All those 4-man dives, but can you really go for 4-man dives when there's a Shen and there's a good chance that Thompson will go for a counter gank? That's just not good play. If you're, that's just putting all of your eggs into one basket. When you have 3, you have 3 baskets to choose from. You have Exosen, you have Kaigu, but you're putting everything on Celestial. And even though he dealt so much damage in that game, it wasn't enough, because now Exosen was like left behind to die in the mid lane. Tamsu and Cannon were just constantly going into Exosen, and James was not there to help him out. That was a huge mistake that they made, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter if Exosen gets behind in gold. The problem is if Awaken snowballs, and that's what James was supposed to prevent, and he failed to do that. Kaigu as well. He didn't have any support because the jungler James kept trying to force dives onto bot lane when it was not advantageous. And that's really the story of this game. They kept trying to force Celestial into being the super carry, but they left the rest of their important members behind to die.
Indeed. So, I mean, there you go. Of course, with Game 1 going to Acclaim Empire X, will Mineski be able to make that comeback, or will AEX continue to get the climb, getting one step closer to the semifinals? Of course, that concludes Game 1. But when we do come back, we're going to be heading into Game 2 for this best of 5 between Acclaim Empire X and Mineski. Of course, we have been your casters, Arctic at your service, fam. And of course, with me is Atlas. We'll be right back for the Bacchus Pro Gaming Series Summer 2017 playoffs. TG joins the party. Kaiju very, very low on health. That is going to be a double kill for Awakened. Cannon himself very, very low on health. Goes down to TG, but Exosen might be the next casualty in this case. Goes down to Thompson. That is going to be a 3-for-1 in favor of Acclaim Empire. There goes Cannon. There goes Awakened as well. We have a full-on fight here. Thompson just within the vicinity to respond. Awakened very, very low on health though. Hamed taking a lot. Double kill going to Cannon. Looks like Kaiju might be the next casualty here. Tries to go on to Awakened. Succeeds, but will be going down in exchange. That is going to be a 2-for-3 in favor of Acclaim Empire.
Here you go.
That's going to be the fight. No knockup coming in from the Callista right there from TG. Here comes the ice. Looks like Mineski really trying to take it down onto AEX. Vanguard himself very, very low on health. A lot of low members coming in from AEX right here. Oh, being popped down. 2 members taken down. Triple kill for Exosen. Only Mirmo and Awaken, the only surviving members. Make that 4 members of AEX down. Awaken, the only surviving member here. And this will prod Mineski rather. 3 tanky members of Acclaim Empire X. But wow, there goes Mirmo actually within the backline, getting some auto attacks onto Kaiju. This might actually go for the reverse. Kaiju goes down to Tomsu. Looks like things will be reversing for Mineski real quick. Exosen joins the party as well. Looks like that is going to be no shockwave just yet, but looks like Mirmo getting the kill onto Hamas as well. Those are 2 members of Mineski down. Celestial getting the kill onto Cannon into exchange. Tomsu might be in trouble himself. Will be going down to Celestial. Double kill for Celestial. So 3 members of Acclaim Empire X converting onto them. Celestial getting the knockup onto the members as well, but looks like things going south real fast for Mineski. That's going to be 2 members of Mineski down and 3 members trying to run it out here. 5 members of Acclaim Empire X converging onto them. This is going to be very dangerous indeed. Kaiju tries to get on to Mirmos. But looks like Kaiju in exchange will be forced to back away for the meantime, taking a lot of damage. 4 members of Mineski squad down.
Oh dear, they just got engaged on that. I told you, that's the danger. They have so many tools to engage to stop this 4-man push onto the Nexus.
Indeed.
And I think this is Game 1 going to AEX. I think AEX is breaking a lot of expectations coming to this playoffs. Game 1, first step, huge bound, huge step forward.
Congratulations, Game 1 with Empire X. Ooh.